Well, you join me on what might just be the best coastal drive anywhere in the world. Certainly here in Ireland, for me, this is #1. Welcome to County Antrim and the Causeway Coastal Route. I'm Stuart Robinson. As it says in the sign here, the Antrim Coast Road, constructed between 1832 and 1842. This connected the Glens of Antrim with pretty much the rest of Ireland. To this day, the road itself has just breathtaking views. People come from all over the world, and on a day like today that I'm going to share with you, this place is just absolutely incredible. It's certainly a little gem we have right here on our doorstep. Now, the road itself, well, starts in Belfast and goes the whole way up the east coast of County Antrim, finishing up north towards Portstewart. But the leg I'm going to take you on is my favourite part of the journey, and it's arguably the most breathtaking. It's where you've got the sea to the right hand side and you've got the Glens to the left hand side. Starting just outside the town of Larne here in County Antrim, we're going to make our way up the entire coast today, through all the towns and villages, up through the Glens, ending over Torr Head and into Portrush, and we'll share with you a drive up the scenic Causeway Coastal Route. So just ahead is the first little village you'll pass through on the Antrim coast heading up this way, called Drains Bay, and you'll know you're entering Drains Bay because you're going to come through the Black Arch right here. The Black Arch, of course, is iconic for the Antrim Coast Road. It has a bit of a nickname in here behind called the Devil's Churn, which has got quite a ghostly story. Now, as you can see, it's pretty much single file traffic through here. This person's letting me go on ahead, thanks so much. And it also means that big tour buses and things like that could come up this road, and lorries as well, don't have a chance on the Antrim Coast Road, so it pretty much is just bikes and cars only. Can be a tricky road, but the Black Arch is certainly one of those little spots with lots of history, and we will do a separate video on the Black Arch on this channel. And again, the Antrim Coast is full of grisly and ghostly stories, and the Black Arch and the Devil's Churn has one of them. And just ahead, a few miles down the road, we'll share another one with you. Well, it's one of those rare days where the sun's shining on the Antrim coast. People actually are out in this little bit of beach here at Drains Bay. It's probably as busy as I've ever seen it. They've got this car park here to the left. You'll see things like ice cream vans and burger vans in there on good days. There's also public amenities and some picnic tables around here as well. And then just beyond that, in fact, connecting this kids park, about a mile walk further down here, is one of Northern Ireland's country parks, which isn't in great shape at the moment. They are planning on spending some money on it. And this is Carnlough Country Park just down here to the left. And our next ghost story picks up just a few miles outside Larne here in Ballygally. This is the Ballygally Castle Hotel. And yes, today it is a hotel, somewhere to rest your head for the night here on the Antrim coast. But right up here is a little room called the Ghost Room, which you can stay in, and this tower is known for lots and lots of reports of paranormal activities down through the years. The Ballygally Castle was built in 1625 by a Scottish settler, and today it remains one of the top little places to stay when you visit the Antrim Coast Road. Well, apart from the Ballygally Castle, which is one of Ireland's oldest inhabitable castles still to this day, this place is full of history. It's the main kind of settlement you come to up the Antrim Coast Road. A few hundred people call this little village home. And you can see on today, on a day like this, it's just breathtaking. You've got this lovely little sandy beach here, lots of families out enjoying themselves, and not so many people in the water. You're not going to go into that water. That's the Irish Sea, and even when the sun shines in Northern Ireland, the sea is still very, very cold. Well, this is the way to do the Antrim Coast Road. You got to stop in all the little towns and villages along the way. They've all got their own little unique mark and their own little place in history, and Ballygally is no exception. On a day like today, it's about 25 Celsius in Northern Ireland. It's beautiful down here. Now we're going to make our way on around the corner, because the next stop is going to be the village of Glenariff. The Antrim Coast Road was originally the old Irish highway. This is where horses and carts would have come up and down here on this as a dirt track connecting all these little Antrim coast towns and villages back in the 1800s, before the roadway was constructed in the 1930s. Now today the road, as you can see, is quite tricky. It does have a lot of little twists and bends around the whole route here, and on a day like today, of course, it's a beautiful drive, and I'd say probably up there with one of the best, maybe anywhere in the world, and it's often been considered to be one of the best scenic drives on planet Earth. But when the weather's not great, well, this place can fall into disarray. In fact, many times throughout the year this road will be blocked, and it's not just due to flooding and things like waves coming up here from the Irish Sea, but the major problem with the Antrim Coast Road is because it's right here on the basin of the hills of Antrim and the Glens of Antrim. Lots of fallen rocks will crumble down onto this road throughout the year. It doesn't take much for this place to get a rock fall, and they'll come crashing down on anything that's in their way, and this road can sometimes be closed for days, even weeks.
As you can see, the kids are very interested in the Antrim coast and all the beautiful scenery that comes with it. They are taking in all the views of their iPads.
Yeah, and the thing was, when I was their age coming up and down this road with my mum and dad, you didn't have iPads or phones. You had no option to look at the scenery and take it all in, and that's why I've got probably more information and knowledge of this place than maybe the next generation will have, who knows. It's hard to believe this entire 40-kilometre stretch of road from Larne up to the north coast, the Causeway coast, cost just 37 grand when it was constructed almost 100 years ago. Now my next stop is here in the pretty village of Glenariff. Glenariff Castle is probably what it's best known for, another very old castle in behind the town walls here. It was constructed back in the 1600s, but today Glenariff is a quaint little fishing village, and in fact just off the coast here into the Irish Sea, it has one of the largest fishing farms anywhere in Northern Ireland. Now, along with the fishing, Glenariff is also known for being one of the 9 glens of Antrim. And in fact, they say here the first inhabitants were around 3000 BC. The 9 glens of Antrim define and characterise this area as the deep paths to the sea. They were carved out during the Ice Age, when melting and receding glaciers cut deep into the land. And of course, we'll skirt across the Giant's Causeway once we get further up north. Here's where we are at the moment, Glenariff, just on the map of County Antrim. You'll see us just up here, and then the town of Waterfoot and Carnlough is going to be the next stop just up the Antrim coast today. So we're just driving through Carnlough now. This was always the Londonderry Arms. It was once owned by the Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, back in the day. It's called the Harbour Bar now, the Harbour View Bar, so that's only recently changed. Another little archway here just on the approach to the harbour past the red phone box. And good luck to that van. I almost know he's getting through there. Yeah, just about. And then down here in the harbour is where some very famous scenes from Game of Thrones were actually filmed in this harbour here in Carnlough. Now, a little further around when we get to Glenariff, we'll maybe not stop there, we'll drive through, but Glenariff does have a big forest park. It's a little bit too cumbersome to get into and walk around today for the purposes of showing you its main attractions, which are the waterfalls of Glenariff, some of the most spectacular waterfalls anywhere in Ireland. But there is apparently a little waterfall up here which I've never been to before, and it's called Cranny Falls, and it's just up the back of Carnlough. So we are going to have a little look at that and see if we can find it up here. What do you say? Cows and sheep. Yeah, get used to it, because where we're going, there's more of that. So there's a little pathway here that takes you up to the waterfall. I just googled it. It looks to be about a 20-minute walk each way. So not everybody's entirely happy about that, but you just can't, well, by the looks of it, drive any closer. So Cranny Falls. Right, we can hear the waterfall, but obviously rocks have come down from the cliffside, and this fence doesn't look the safest, so we're going to just stick firmly to the path here. What? Oh my goodness. Wow. That is a good waterfall, to be fair. Isn't it? Like, that is a good one as far as waterfalls go.
Huh?
Wow! So Cranny Falls, we made it. Not everybody appreciates the 25-minute walk. It is a little bit of uphill and it is warm today, so maybe a little bit more tough than had anticipated, but beautiful waterfall, and this is where the path ends here as well, so you can go no further, so that path leads right up to this spectacular waterfall. Decent sized one actually, and it's not the tallest one by any stretch on the Glens of Antrim. There are many more, 3, 4, 5 times this size in Glenariff, but it's still pretty decent. Welcome to Waterfit, right on Red Bay. You'll get some of the most breathtaking scenery on the Antrim coast in this quaint little village. There's only around 500 people live here. There's a decent chippy, which I'm about to hit up because I'm getting hungry now. You'll also come to a fork in the road for the first time on your jaunt down the Antrim coast, and that's where you've got to make a decision. You can turn left down here towards Glenariff, and that's where the forest park is. You'll get more spectacular waterfall views down there. In fact, some of the best waterfalls anywhere in Ireland you'll find in Glenariff. Or if you want to keep hugging the coast along as heading northwards up the Antrim coast, you're going to turn right at this junction. And that's exactly what we're going to do in a bit as we move onwards towards Cushendun. The Queen of the Glens, Glenariff, Waterfit, where so far I've spotted 2 pubs, something that used to be a pub or an inn, and an off sales here, a little shop, and the chippy, and a red phone box. Oh, and a post box as well. And that is probably about the height of it. Well, Waterfit does have a beach. It never usually gets the value out of having a beach that stretches the full length of the village because of the usual weather in Northern Ireland, but we've got this beautiful day today, and you can see even for as warm as it is, this beach, given how pretty it is, isn't actually that busy at all. This is a pretty decent sized strand, lovely soft sand the whole way, and not as busy as some of the other smaller spots I've actually spotted further around the coast. And in many ways, standing here is pretty typical of the Antrim coast at its very best. The beautiful backdrop of the cliffside of the Glens, snuggled down along the coastline here, where there's even some brave souls actually in the water on this beautiful day. And this particular bit of beach is lovely and sandy. And when you stand here for this quiet moment and you take in all this sort of natural beauty of the Antrim coast, you do get a sense of what a special place this actually is and how it could be anywhere in the world. As I mentioned, unfortunately, with the weather and the climate in this country, we just don't get to appreciate this beauty as much and as often as we should.
Oh my, I caught all my big bag of crisps.
That's going to be the thumbnail.
Eden. Hey.
I've got a thumbnail there.
Ryan's enjoying a big packet of hot Cheetos. Look, there's just a can.
Mom, where are we going?
We're in Cushendall. Is that right?
Cushendall, yeah.
Cushendall. Can you say that, Eden?
Huh?
Cushendall.
It's a beautiful spot this. Around 1,100 people call this home. 16 miles away from Scotland, so not that far at this point across the Irish Sea, but it's not the closest point. You'll get a little closer as we get further round the coast road. But not just do you have these beautiful glens and a lovely beach down here as well, but actually there's some really nice shops and dining in the town centre itself. It's all decked out for the moment for the Heart of the Glens festival as well. So there's a bit of a carnival vibe around this little village on the Antrim coast. But one of the most distinct things about Cushendall is this very oddly shaped backdrop. It has Larne over the top of the village. Because Cushendall lies right here in the shadow of the table-topped Larne mountain. This rather unique looking mountain is also the meeting point of where 3 of the glens of Antrim come together. Here, Glenanne meets Glenballyemon meets Glencorp, right at this point, overlooking Cushendall. Well, moving on from Cushendall, the next stop is the village of Cushendun. It's a little bit smaller than where I am now, and it's just about 3 or 4 miles around the corner. It's often bypassed because there is a road that runs from where I'm at now over to Ballycastle, but instead I'm going to head to Cushendun and then take in the headlands of northeastern Ireland. This is where we'll stop our journey on the Antrim coast, or at least this leg of the journey, and we start moving westwards along the top of Northern Ireland, along the north coast, along what is known as the Causeway Coast, as we head towards Ballycastle and on to Portrush and Portstewart.
Yeah. This is so cute. Everything in this town, is this a town?
It's a village.
Everything in this village matches, which I like.
Yeah.
It's all like little white houses with like.
I'm just going to drive down here 1 wee second and park.
Go. Oh, I think that's actually an island ship. There's the wee hotel.
The Cushendun Hotel.
Wow, we could have stayed in there tonight.
How beautiful is this little village? This is the last major settlement on our drive up the Antrim Coast Road. This is Cushendun. Very shortly we're going to be heading up over these headlands beyond, and that's when we'll go over Torr Head and Fair Head and start making our way back down into Ballycastle on the northeastern tip of Northern Ireland. But first we're going to just stop here for just a few minutes and take in this beautiful bay here at Cushendun. It's just a gorgeous part of the world, and because there's so many other roads that just run right past this place, it's quite quaint and forgotten about. Not a lot of people will stop off and village here, and really you have to make a point to visit. But certainly it's not one of the villages to bypass on your trip up the Antrim coast. Now, so far our weather's been beautiful on this journey up the Antrim coast, but note of caution, there's going to be some elevation ahead, and once you get up round the northeastern tip of Northern Ireland over those mountains, even on a day like today, you can find yourself in among some low-level cloud. So hopefully it'll stay dry and clear for us, but as our journey continues next, we're heading up here over Torr Head for some of the most breathtaking cliff views of Northern Ireland. Well, we've come through Cushendun and Cushendall, and we're going to be heading up to probably one of the most scenic parts of our drive. These cliffs that we're going to be driving across the top of are 600 feet above sea level. They're the highest cliffs anywhere in Northern Ireland and some of the biggest in Ireland. This route that we take you up is like a little bit of a roller coaster track on this little road here through Torr Head, Murlock Bay, and then on to Fair Head before we come down the other side to Ballycastle.
Like,
yes, and trying to get two cars here is going to be tricky.
What are we doing?
Well, we're going to try to make it work.
I don't know how.
Where there's a will, there's a way. There we go.
Oh.
It's not like there's a 600-foot drop over there into the sea. See the old castle ruin down there on to the coast?
Right on the top of the hill?
Yeah.
I think we stopped there before, didn't we?
That's Murlock Bay, yeah, I think we did do that, didn't we? Well, these are the windy little roads of Torr and Fair Head. You can't completely bypass this entire northeastern headland section of Northern Ireland by heading straight from Cushendall to Ballycastle up through Ballypatrick Forest, but this takes a little while longer to get up round the coast. But for the purposes of our drive today, I just wanted to come down and show you this incredible breathtaking view from up here, where it's just you and the sheep and a few cows over here, and down here is Murlock Bay. You're at the closest point to Scotland from right there, and over there just behind the cloud that's lurking over the Mull of Kintyre is Scotland itself. Talking about just how difficult the roads are up around here, look. And they're just the long, windy roads the whole way around this 20-mile section. We get a bit of sun out again.
It's just typical Northern Ireland, isn't it? It's like over there, a massive cloud. You can't even see over there.
No.
Over there beside you. Crazy. Then you head over here guys.
Yeah. I think grey over there now.
Grey over there.
These rocky headlands are about 5 miles off our next main stop today in the town of Ballycastle. You're 600 feet above sea level, the cliffs down there diving into the Irish Sea. Most of this land is privately owned. Some of it is protected by the National Trust though. The weather is so changeable up here too. You can see the blue sky and the sunshine just hazing through some very fast moving cloud as it comes in off the sea. And you can see in the distance there Rathlin Island, which I'll tell you more about when we get to Ballycastle, and Scotland then just beyond that. When you see this wee rock in the road, Anna Hawley, this is a little place for a photo op if ever there was one. There's space just to park in on the side of what's otherwise the whole way around there a very narrow road. In fact, you struggle to get more than one car round this road at a time. It is very difficult if you meet something coming the other way.
Just you concentrate on the road.
Oh, I am.
And I'll do the videoing.
And it's right at this point, you're probably as close to being above the water as you're going to be the whole way around this stretch of road. You don't want to go too close to the edge here.
No!
Because it's a long way down into the Irish Sea.
I don't even know if the video can shows how steep the hill is, but it is so steep. And there's nothing major keeping you and the hill apart other than a small fence or a bush. So the car would definitely go through it. Who lives in here?
Don't know. If you want to stop and knock on the door there, we can find out.
Who lives in this house?
Well, somebody lives there.
It's a gorgeous house with a gorgeous view. See if you live there, let us know. Because
I don't know if they even have internet up here, to be honest with you.
You're in the middle of nowhere. How do you survive out here? As the delivery man come?
Don't know if he would come up round these ways, to be fair. I mean, the whole time we've only passed a couple of cars. There's just very little need for anyone to be up round here. It's good, isn't it? Lovely blue sky and sea.
So where's over there with all the white houses?
We're at the fair at Ballycastle. Did you treat your Mary Ann to a dancing yellow man? The Larne was fair in Ballycastle.
Nanny Fifi giving us a wee song about Ballycastle on the Lammas Fair.
We've made it to the northeastern tip of Northern Ireland and Ireland. Welcome to Ballycastle, known for its famous Old Lammas Fair, one of the oldest running fairs anywhere in the world, but Ballycastle has so much more today. Ballycastle is still the hiving little market town it's always been. Down here on the seafront, this is the Ballycastle Marina, where you can get boats that connect Scotland to Northern Ireland. This is the shortest point of distance there is between the two nations. In fact, just 12 miles across the Irish Sea here is the Mull of Kintyre in Scotland. You can also see Ballycastle has this beautiful beach stretching right around the Antrim coast as far as the eye can see there of where we've just come from. And the town itself is littered with lots of little gift shops, ice cream parlours, but its speciality here is the fish, and it's the cod in particular that they catch fresh daily here. They bring in off the trawlers and they serve it right here where we're going to have lunch right down on the seafront at the famous Morton's Fish and Chips shop. What do I need to do in Ballycastle before I die?
Dessert bar.
Dessert bar, I can see it across the road. What do they do?
Yeah.
Do they do cheesecake in there?
Yeah, they do
Oh.
cheesecake, pavlovas. Their ice cream's amazing. Or you can get milkshakes. You can get,
You've sold it.
it is.
And what about food? So I'm going to go for a cod supper. You think the cod in Morton's is good?
Nice, that's a chip.
It's
It's
good.
very good.
But
Chinese.
the Chinese, well,
Red something.
The Red
it's called.
Dragon, I think.
Red Dragon.
the red dragon, right? Well, that'll be on my list. Not for
Yeah.
today, because you know I do look like I could maybe manage a Chinese and a chippy in the one sitting, but not today.
Maybe for another time.
Maybe for another day. Lovely to meet you. Give us a wave into the camera for the YouTube. And have you been the whole way up through the Antrim coast, or?
Yeah, we're down Portrush. Then we're down Portstewart. and then finish off here
Yeah.
for Chinese, and then
It's some spot, isn't it? It's some part of the world, isn't it?
you forget that you have
I
this
know.
on your doorstep.
And it's just when the weather weather's good, everybody kind of crawls out and remembers how good we could actually have it. Wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the time?
Exactly. Just
Lovely to meet you
wishful
anyway.
thinking. Lovely to meet you.
Well, it smells good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it smell good?
Yeah. There's my chicken coming.
That's your dinner coming. Yeah. Morton's actually has a little tea room now to the side. I don't remember this being here before, where you can actually sit in. And there is the much talked about fish. Now, if you're wondering what this is, I got grated cheese, and she says, "Do you want it on the chip or do you want it on the fish?" And I can just shove it everywhere. So that's what it comes out like. Doesn't matter to me. I'm a Hallian. It all goes down the same way. There's your cod.
Yeah.
I've got a kid's cheeseburger meal here and a kid's nuggets meal over here. Looks good. Well, that was absolutely delicious, I have to say. Morton's did not disappoint. Thank you to the nice ladies in there that I met as well. And yeah, tenner for a cod. I guess that's the price of fish, and it's the price of fish coming in fresh from that water out there in the Irish Sea, straight into your table and into your belly. And they always say the sign of a good fish and chippy is the crowd outside it. Look at all these people lined up right down here waiting, and all over here there's about a 20-25 minute wait, but it's definitely worth it. Radio enthusiasts like me will appreciate Ballycastle being the site where the world's first wireless telegraphy link was communicated. It's true, back in 1898, albeit for a very short few seconds, a radio link was sent between here in Ballycastle and the nearby Rathlin Island, effectively marking the start of radio communications from right here where I'm standing now. And that is Rathlin Island. You can see there just poking out in the distance. If you look really carefully, you might be able to see a vague outline of Scotland over there. It's got a little bit hazy where we're at right now, but Scotland is just 12 miles across there. Rathlin's a lot closer. It's about mile and a half, 2 miles out there. I'll get you there. And you can get on the ferry boat. It runs regularly throughout the day. And it's not that big, easy enough to get around, about 4 miles wide and 2 miles long. This is where you'll get the Rathlin ferry. They've got a timetable for the summer and a reduced service here in the winter, and it's online bookings only. Over here there's a sign that tells you about the boat tours for 33 quid for an adult that leave at 10 a.m. and 12:45 p.m. Puffin, Seals and Lighthouse. So that's sort of a guided tour on this vessel here around Rathlin Island. Right, well, I think I'll have a wee look in the window of the dessert bar on the way back to the car. The Marine Hotel is right here, and then up this road into the town centre. And here we found a water fountain, and we're going for it. Oh my goodness, what has gone on here? What's happened? We like the look of what we see in the dessert bar. Pretty big menu. Oh,
I was thinking.
and a caught glimpse of the chocolate cake. And of course, while in Ballycastle, this is somewhat of a local delicacy, made famous at the old Lammas Fair, Yellow Man. Wow! That is the baby Evie. It's candy floss, it looks brilliant. This is the baby Evie. Mallows, fizzy bottles, jelly pig, sherbet, fizz and ice cream. Looks good. Well, that's us leaving Ballycastle now. I'll tell you what, we're well fed anyway.
Oh, my jeans, I'm about to explode.
Yeah, that dessert bar was absolutely gorgeous. We pigged out in there in Morton's fish and chips. Amazing. So that gets us in good mode now for the rest of our journey around the top of the north coast. This is the Causeway Coast. Now, a couple of the main attractions will pass by. They're worth a day visit on their own. That's, of course, the Giant's Causeway, one of Northern Ireland's most famous visitor attractions. But also up by Ballintoy, you'll find the Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge as well, which is worth visiting. On through from there, you'll go through the towns of Port Ballantrae. Oh, gonna let the police through. And you'll also then go through Bushmills, and then
imagine what's happening too much down
Ballycastle.
Ballycastle.
Then you'll arrive in our penultimate town for the day, which again is probably one of the main stops here on this drive we're doing today, and that's Portrush, and that's where we'll be popping up at the end of this road.
Yeah. You know we've made a video here before, Mum.
Yes, go check out our other video on curries if you want to see what goes on inside.
Busy, busy, busy.
All these people, busy, tops off kind of day. Tops off, isn't it?
Well, we've just arrived in Portrush at the very top of Northern Ireland on the north coast. This is to Ireland, I guess, what Blackpool is to England, lined with rows and rows of gift stores, beach shop front stores and amusement arcades, including here at Curry's, formerly Barry's. This is a must for any Northern Ireland stay-at-home holiday break. I have a separate video on Curry's, formerly Barry's, you can watch on this channel, but we are going to go in today again and have a sneak peek around. So if you actually check out the video from when we were last here, thank you. And it wasn't that long ago, just a couple of months ago, she was Easter, she was too scared to go on this. Now it's the summer and she's on it, so that's progress. So this is the oldest amusement park anywhere in Ireland, and probably with kids, no journey up the Antrim Coast Road and around the Causeway Coast is complete without visiting Barry's, now Curry's.
And spending £1,000 on
£1,000 on what? You're gonna hit up the slots machines? You'll not spend £1,000. It's what, 20 quid for 25 tokens, and typically most rides are 2 or 3 tokens each. Every time you come, there's something new. There's some new machines here since last time, and there's also this recent addition out the back here, this kind of water flume ride, which on the one day that it could and should be open in Northern Ireland, it's closed. But there's a waltzer and a little kid's caterpillar roller coaster up here, and also this little thing here. Now just beside the main theme park we were in over here, there's this seasonal pop-up one here as well, where you get the pleasure of spending another 20 quid on tokens that don't last very long on this range of kids attractions here as well. We've got a train, they've got some inflatables down there, these little water boats, and right now they're up on these helicopters. Where are they? Oh, they're here.
Drop in a coin and keep going.
Well, if you're watching this video and you're not from Ireland, I'll reiterate once again, disclaimer, the weather is not like this all the time. In fact, the weather is rarely like this. Right here on the north coast, overlooking Portrush Strand, you can see people are out in the water today. This is a rarity here. They're on the beach, people are off on their holidays, they're making the most of this gorgeous weather, and I stand by that when the weather shines like it is today. It's got up to 27, 28 degrees in Northern Ireland. It is one of the finest places anywhere in the world in terms of that picturesque scenic setting. The rest of the year, unfortunately, not so much. We don't get to take advantage of this beautiful weather, but on a day like today, you can see here in Portrush as a part of our coastal drive, this really is one of the highlights, and you definitely need to stop in Portrush when you're doing that Causeway Coastal Route. So we've left Portrush and we're on our way now to our final stop on this journey of the Antrim coast. Technically, we're now in Londonderry, County Londonderry, between Portrush and Portstewart. You cross the county border. So the final stop will be Portstewart. It's just slightly smaller than Portrush. It's not quite as touristy. It doesn't have the same kind of amenities. There's not the same level of restaurants and amusement arcades and things like that. Portstewart's a little bit more sort of upscale, a little bit quieter, but as you can see out here, there's loads and loads of caravans, thousands of caravans litter the road between Portrush and Portstewart, and that's why out of all the locations we've been to on this video as we've headed up the Antrim coast, these two towns, but Portrush in particular, will be the one that you don't just spend an hour or two in as we have today, but people will come here and spend a week or much longer. It really is the town that anybody making this trip will most likely find themselves in and stay there for any length of time. Now again, the weather up here on the north coast is beautiful as it was coming up the east coast earlier in the video, and while you're hugging the Irish Sea to your right hand side, travelling east up the County Antrim coast, now on the top of Northern Ireland along the Causeway coast here, you're looking right out across the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the seafront of Portstewart. So it's got its fair share of ice cream, parlours, chippies, and it is the main town centre, and it's also got this unique perspective right out over the sea for being the town centre. Little kids' playground up ahead. And while Portstewart may not be as big as Portrush and have the same kind of amenities, what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in beach, and that's where we're headed next. What a way to finish our video here in Portstewart on the north coast, having driven up the Antrim coast throughout the day. This really is one of the best beaches anywhere in Ireland, in my opinion. It's certainly the best in Northern Ireland. It's 2 miles long of golden sandy shoreline, and not only that, you can drive your car down onto this beach, and on a scorcher day it is like today, this is somewhere you can come with the family and spend the entire day right here overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Well, you can see here facing west, the sun up here, it'll be coming down in the next few hours, and you just get the most amazing sunsets down here, down over the Atlantic Ocean, out towards Donegal, which is just beyond those people you can see there. Just look at the beach, lined with cars, people out enjoying themselves the whole way along this 2 miles. I've spied a little ice cream van up here, which I think we'll be hitting up very shortly. And then just down here is the town of Portstewart, where we've just driven through. So the Strand's about a mile outside the town. Or certainly the bit where you drive onto is a mile outside the town, but obviously you can walk onto the beach away down here as well. Today the National Trusts own and operate Portstewart Strand. It's a blue flag beach, which means it's recommended and recognised for its excellent water quality, which is a bit of a rarity in a lot of places around Northern Ireland right now. So the water is clean and good to get into, especially on a day like today. Now they will charge you £8.50 on a good day to come in here and spend the day to bring your car onto the beach. Now when we were coming through the ticket booth there was no one around. It's a bit later in the day, and I think they kind of knock off probably mid-afternoon. They're not going to charge people to come down for an hour or so in the evening by the looks of it. Now just over here behind me are the Portstewart Strand sand dunes. These go on for the full length of the beach too, and they go in there quite deep as well in at the back. There you hold their own little adventure, so if you've got kids who don't mind climbing the dunes, sliding down some of the sand pathways and getting clarried in sand that you'll be picking out of your car for weeks and weeks and weeks. Just a note of caution, if you ever do find yourself bringing the car onto this or really any beach, you want to stay in the hard, wet sand. I have had the car towed out of this beach over the years more than once. You come up here slightly, the sand's a little bit more soft. It can sometimes be a problem. Positive side, when the tide comes in, well, at least your car will be the last one to get washed away. So we're digging some kind of trench back here, yeah? Are we going to bury somebody?
Yeah, we're going to bury them.
Huh? You need to keep digging then. You need a bigger hole. And just as I come back in off the sand dunes here, in the sun haze, as far as the eye can see, at the end of the cliff, you'll see the Mazenden Temple, and that's at Downhill Domain and Beach. Further towards Derry there, and then on to Donegal, and that's another trip for another time. But again, this isn't where by any means this stretch of road finishes, or this is not by any stretch as good as it gets. Well, it's up there, but Downhill Beach in particular, and heading around there to Benone and beyond into Donegal is just a fabulous part of the world as well. Sights I did not want to see down here. I had worked myself up for like a 99 with a flake and chocolate sprinkles and certainly a drink. The ice creams looked absolutely amazing, I have to say, on his poster anyway, but I wasn't allowed any.
We thought you were coming back here with a double Mr. Whippy.
Well, do you want me to go and get one of these shared?
No, we thought you would.
No, I was going to, but then I'm not going to sit and eat one in front of you, all am I?
No, greedy.
Aye. Well, with the beautiful Portstewart in the background, that concludes our trip up the Causeway Coastal Route, up the Antrim Coast Road, and then along the Causeway Coast as well. Just a fabulous stretch of road, isn't it? And hopefully you've seen some of the amazing sights that we have right here on our doorstep in Northern Ireland each and every day on this video. If only the weather was like this each and every day, this would be an even more special place. Thank you for joining me on the journey. If you've never done this journey before, you've never enjoyed this bit of road as we have, well, hopefully one day you'll be inspired to do it and take it all in. Well, we did it in a day. You can't do it in a day if you want to take it all in. There's multiple hotels and stops and B&Bs along the way that you can absolutely avail of. I would say if you wanted properly to do this route, you should allow yourself 3 maybe to 5 days to properly see everything there is along the way. The Carrigareed rope bridge, Rathlin Island, the famous Giant's Causeway, and then some of those great filming scenes from the Game of Thrones, including the dark hedges as well. There's so much that we just couldn't cram into this video. Thanks as always for watching, and if you like more content like this from right here in our home in Northern Ireland, or even on our travels further afield, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video like this again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.